You see the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a president.
A doctor and a president? I don't even know how to address this guy. Your Honor, Your Highness. Joining us right now, the president of Sacramento State University, Dr. Luke Wood. Doc, it's me. It's Jason. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, brothers.
Look, I'm just saying, we have people on StreamYard a lot that join us via video. Look at the background.
Yeah.
The fade, the background, everything.
It's professional.
Honest to goodness. Now, when I first heard you were coming on, Doc, I said, I've got this ankle issue. But it's a different doctor, though, right? It's not. Is it medical? I don't know. I've got the ankle issue. Maybe some advice at some point. You do everything.
Yeah, I'm not the kind of doctor that you want to have help you in a medical situation, but I'm the kind of doctor that you want to have help you learn.
You're the kind of doctor I want if our hometown school wants to be on a national stage. And the work that you and your team have done, look, for a long time, but over the last year, there are a lot of doubters out there, and I don't mind saying. I mean, I raised an eyebrow a couple times too. God, how are they going to do this? But I know you're not there yet. I know you're not close to being where you want to be, but you have to sometimes take a step back, I would imagine, and be very proud of what you've done.
Well, I mean, in a pretty short period of time, we have put Sacramento State on the national stage in athletics. Now, obviously, like you said, we're nowhere near where we want to be, but I think that we're showing that there's a trajectory that elevates Sacramento State to a big name in sports, and we can be there, and we will be there.
Yeah, just recently, to your point, we wouldn't always see Sacramento State mentioned on the front page of ESPN.com or a national on the scroll, or in people talking about moves that the university has made. And one of them, you guys applied to go FBS via the independent route. Let's kind of, if we start there, because we heard rumors about Pac-12, maybe Mountain West. Why might this be a route that seems the best suited for the Hornets?
Well, it's best suited for the Hornets for a lot of reasons, right? So first of all, let me explain for those who don't understand. So we're an FCS football team, and which means that we're in the championship series, and we want to be in the bowl series. We want to be at the highest level of D1. And right now, all of our sports, all of our 20 of our 21 athletic teams compete at the highest level of D1. The only one that doesn't is football. And so we want our football players to be able to have that opportunity. So obviously we've looked at conferences, we've had conversations with just about every major conference in the country. But what it really came down to is this whole notion of an independent route where we can control our own future, our own destiny, and have control over who we play in our schedule. And so just thinking about like that commitment, most universities would fail at trying to go independent. Right. In fact, if you think about it, there's only 2 universities in the country that are independent right now, UConn and Notre Dame. And Notre Dame, of course, has a schedule agreement with the ACC. But what makes Sacramento unique is that we are the only top 20 media market in the nation that doesn't have an FBS football team. And we're also in a really unimpacted market. Obviously, there's the Kings. There's Sacramento State football. We've got the A's here for a few years. Hopefully something continues with professional baseball, but we have kind of a more open market. And so our ability to be able to leverage that market without a lot of competition, there's not like there's 20 universities within our region. It's us and our folks and our colleagues across the causeway. So we have the ability to leverage our region in a way that really very few other areas in the country could. So being independent means we control our destiny. We get to control which teams we want to play. And then we get to show and demonstrate the value of our media market. So 2, 3, 4 years from now, we're in the kind of conference we want to be, or we continue down this path.
And Doc, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, Jason and I, actually last week. When you look at we'll just stick to football, the traditional powerhouses, your Ohio State, Florida, Alabama, Florida State, Texas. It's not New York, Chicago, and LA. It's Columbus, it's Austin, it's Gainesville, it's Tallahassee. These are all markets that are either competitive with Sacramento, or in most cases, Sacramento is a bigger market. So it's not like the NBA or NFL where it's New York, LA, Chicago predominantly. Most of your big powerhouses are in, should I say, Sacramento esque cities. I got to imagine that factors into the optimism there.
Yeah, I mean, what factors into the optimism is that the community support that we have from the Sac-12. I mean, if you think about it, some of the most influential political business leaders, excuse me, in our entire region are part of the Sac-12 and are helping to propel these efforts. Obviously, we've got the media market. And then I would also say that the other secret sauce we have is one of the best ADs, if not the best AD in the country, with Mark Orr. Mm-hmm. So if you look at his success as an athletic director and how many of our teams have been successful, like we have some unique things that allow us to be able to be in a position that I don't really think anyone else could benefit from. In fact, I would say that the vast majority of universities that would say, hey, we want to be independent in football, I would say that that's laughable. But for us, it's not laughable. It's actually a realistic endeavor.
As we're talking with Sacramento State President Dr. Luke Wood here. So the media market, I've always felt was the biggest chip you guys have at Sacramento State. How do you capture that? Let's say if the independent part works, if the NCAA accepts that filing, you guys proceed, you go forward. If you're attached to a conference, totally see how a major network says, yeah, the Hornets are part of the Pac-12 or they're part of the Mountain West. How do you capture that as a media market, maybe get that media deal you're looking for if you are an independent out here in Sacramento?
Yeah, we're already working on that. So we've got a consultant company that we're working with. They're exploring and having conversations as we speak. I mean, even I was just got off the phone with them. It's going to be, we're looking at everything. We're looking at traditional media. We're looking at streaming options, but we're going to get whatever is the best value for our campus and our community. And we're going to be able to, and one of the things that they're all telling us is the fact that we're independent makes us far more interesting to them because we can play the teams that they want to see. And because we're not tied to anyone like you would be with a conference. And so there is an incredible benefit for us that just wouldn't be realized in another location. So we're looking at all those options right now. But let me say this, and I think that most people, when they see us putting this emphasis on athletics, they don't realize something very important. The total media payout that Sacramento State gets right now from being in the Big Sky for all 21 of our athletic teams is $100,000 a year. So we're talking about right now, every conversation we're talking about is in the millions, not in $100,000. So this is a smart move for us, both strategically and financially.
Not to get too in the woods here, no pun intended, but as we talked to Dr. Luke Wood, president of Sac State, years ago, we had invited some local folk that knew what they were talking about when it came to the growth of Sac State specifically, but I think we also had some UC Davis folk as well. And I'm born and raised here. Look, I think this is a college town that in some aspects doesn't know it yet. You've seen written about Kings audiences before that opposing teams will say it's a college-like atmosphere. I don't think that's a coincidence. This is a town that is built for college sports. One of the things they mentioned is endowment. I didn't understand that, but how important, at least at the time, that was for the overall growth of the university when it comes to a national stage. And I'm just looking at Wikipedia, 2023. It says Sac State's endowment $93 million. I'm sure that's different now, but when you're looking at a lot of these, $800 million, $1 billion, just crazy numbers. Is that a little bit behind the eight ball for us, or are there strategies now to kind of overcome that hurdle, even if it isn't one?
No, we're way behind the eight ball. I would say that it's about $100 million right now. That's not a big endowment at all, and especially if you think about, like, right now we're in a state budget reduction, so you would think that a lot of institutions that are bigger institutions could rely upon their endowment to help, because those things are cyclical. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't do that in the same way as other institutions. But part of what other institutions have done is that they focus on how can we generate revenue. And one of the ways that you can generate revenue is athletics. It's not the only way. You can do contract training. You can recruit students from out of state or internationally because they pay double the rate. So there are levers that you can pull. But in order to be able to get there, you have to be more entrepreneurial. And historically, Sacramento State has not been an entrepreneurial institution. And so, part of what is even pushing us further to want to do what we're doing and bringing in the great coaches that we're bringing in, like Mike Bibby for basketball and Brennan Marion for football, and what we're doing is we're elevating Sacramento State sports. But the revenue, about 15% of it, we've said that 15% of all the new revenue that's generated is actually going to go back to the university to support academics. And so what we're doing is we're using the asset that we have. You said it already. We're a college town, right? And it does feel like that because you've got Sacramento State, you've got Davis. And if you talk to someone in the community, everyone in this community either graduated from one of those institutions or has a family member that graduated from one of those institutions. So why not leverage what's already sitting right in front of us?
Mm-hmm. What's the obviously, if this jump all comes to fruition for you guys, there's facilities upgrades you guys have been working on. I know it's at your press conference about the new stadium and the future for that. What's the latest you can tell everybody on the football stadium?
Yeah, so football stadium is in progress. Everything is going smoothly. We just got back a next set of conceptual renderings from, not conceptual, but actual renderings from Populous, which is the architecture firm that we've been working with. We are also making upgrades in advance of the new stadium. So for this upcoming season, we're investing in a number of things that are been to improve the fan experience in the meantime. So, the seats are going to look different and be much more comfortable than they've been. We're going to have new restrooms, new concessions. We have a whole new lighting system that's going in, new video board, ribbon boards on the field, changes to the track to make it look more presentable. So we're doing some pretty significant investments in the athletic facility to create a better experience, because I'm not counting on averaging 15,000 fans a game this season. I'm counting on averaging 20 or more.
Dr. Luke Wood joining us, president of Sac State. One thing that made me smile in this whole process, you and I are fairly new friends. We've gotten to know each other over the last few months, but I know your brother quite well. And
I'm
sorry. well, you're both incredibly smart. Whatever they put in the water or whatever has worked. And he was very instrumental, one of those behind the scenes guys that never gets credit in the whole fight for the Sacramento Kings. It's a different thing. It's a different goal, but I smile a little bit, Doc, because I see some similarities. Maybe it's the gumption, the guts, the creativity, the shift on the fly, but I do see some second cousins, if you will, between the playing to win strategies and the Sac-12 strategies.
Oh, I mean, I got to say, all in our text string between all of us is PTW. We're playing to win. And, a lot of folks don't understand that a lot of the people who are involved in helping us right now with doing what we're doing at Sacramento State are the same folks who fought to save the Kings. Yeah. I could go, I'm not going to list names because it'd actually be too long to list them all. But every single person who was core to that campaign has been involved in this campaign meaningfully. And is directing things either in front of the scenes or behind the scenes, helping us get this done. So people may think that we're out there on our own. No, we've got a whole community of folks who saved the Kings, and now we're going to elevate Sac State.
I'd be curious so you've talked to all these conferences. Some people may know about Sac State, maybe they don't, but they've certainly seen what you guys have done here locally. You mentioned it, hiring Coach Marion, hiring Coach Mike Bibby. Billboards are everywhere. Sometimes you got to spend money to make money. So when you're, talking to other conference commissioners, other people that are decision makers around, what are you hearing as maybe some that doubt what you're doing and others that are supporting what you're doing? What are kind of you hearing from other people around the nation?
I don't think I've talked to a single conference commissioner who hasn't said, we love what you're doing and we're rooting for you. I mean, everyone loves like this, think about it. We're the Rudy of college football right now, right? But we're not talking about a player. We're talking about an entire team, an entire campus, an entire community. And people are getting behind it because they see what we've been able to do in a short period of time. I mean, think about it. Last year, we were, 3-8, 3-9? We had a terrible football season. And in just that short time frame, we're building a stadium. We've hired a new football coach. We've had the Sac-12 raise an ungodly sum of money for us if we can transition to the Pac-12. And even if we don't, some of that is activated if we transition to FBS football in general. We've applied for our transition for our waiver. We've applied for our transition to become a full member of FBS. I mean, what else could people look for than the things that we've been doing to show that, like, hey, we're not just talking about it. People say, do you like to talk about things or do things? I say I like to do things and then talk about them.
It's a lot of great stuff there. Sticking with the radio voice, though. That's a decision. Sorry, I had to do it. Doc, a lot of what you're saying, we're the Rudy. It's a we.
Yeah,
we're the Rudy. We're the underdogs. It really does kind of tap in to the lifeblood of this city, does it not? Surrounded by giants, overlooked, a flyover city, not a flyover state, that type of thing. So I imagine in a lot of your conversations, especially with real locals, you're getting a lot of people kind of rubbing their hands together like, yeah, we've been doing this our whole lives.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think people are tired of seeing Sacramento feel like a next tier city when we know that we offer something that's special. Like, I don't want to continue to be in another conversation where someone says, oh, yeah, Sacramento is great. It's not that far from the Bay and not that far from Reno. If that's our biggest selling point, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. But the truth is, we all know that's not our biggest selling point. It's an amazing city. It's a great place to live. We've got, 2 great universities. We've got the Kings. We've got all these things that are moving in the right direction. You see what folks are doing in the rail yards, right? So we're building this up to be a sports town. And, there's a lot of people working together to kind of transform the image of the city. I think there'll be people who will always be like, yeah, we're proud that we were once a cow town. And shoot, I think it's okay to be proud of where you come from, but where we come from is not where we're going.
As far as the timeline goes, when do you think you guys as the university might hear back from the NCAA about your filings for independence?
We're planning to hear back this semester. We think that, so first of all, the process looked like this. So we submitted our waiver to basically transition to FBS as an independent institution in February. Then the NC2A came back and said, well, it's hard for us to consider the waiver by itself. We really need to see the full application. So we submitted the full application with the waiver. At first, it goes to the FBS so it's a subdivision council or committee. That's going to happen hopefully within the next several weeks. Then from there, it goes to the full D1 council. We will know this semester where we will be. So before summer begins, everyone will know not just where Sacramento State is for football, but for all of our other sports and Olympic sports.
How much, if anything, has the NIL landscape changed things in this process? It feels like it's not a coincidence in some aspects that, especially when you're talking about attracting talent and you got to win at some point. I don't want to say it's easier now because you got to raise the money, but there's a different path now for Sac State to attract athletic talent other than, hey, come live here. It's the best kept secret in California.
Yeah, I mean, I think NIL has been incredibly beneficial for Sacramento State. I'm going to also say something that might surprise you. I think the transfer portal has been incredibly beneficial for Sacramento State. We have a community that does want to support our athletic teams, but then with the House settlement that will be coming up, we all know that it won't just be NIL, but then there's also rev share that the campus can do. So if the university is, let's say, making money from football, some of those monies can go back to supporting those players. That's a radical transformation from the time when I was in college and, we had Amy out there just destroying it on the field, right? That was it was amazing. But think about him, like people like Amy and people like Cyrus, like these are guys who had their jerseys being sold on campus and didn't get a dime from it. Right now, we can sell their jersey. They can get money from that. That helps support them and helps draw them in. So it's a combination of both rev share and NIL being external, rev share being internal, but you put those two together, that's community support, institutional support, and it can help you bring in better athletes. But then the other thing is this transfer portal. Now, obviously, Sac State lost Scadaboo. And at the same time, you know what? I'm glad for him. I'm glad that he was able to come be involved at Sacramento State, succeed here, and go on to ASU, which happens to be my other alma mater. So, maybe that's why I'm not sad about it. But, but I'm glad that he got to do that. But that's also before this current era that we're in. Sacramento State's not the same Sacramento State that he played at in terms of what we're doing on campus. If you think about the transfer portal, it has historically been, or just what it has historically been, where universities lose great players. But what we're finding is a lot of the great players are now reverse transferring back to Sacramento because of this FBS transition. The minute we announced that we were going to go FBS, it radically changed what was happening. Brennan Marion was already essentially destroying it with his recruitment, had the best FCS recruiting class in the country. But then once we made that announcement that we had submitted the app, more individuals were being interested in Sacramento State because they want to be at home. They didn't leave because they wanted to leave. They left because they had to. So, you're going to see another campaign coming up really soon that says, and you're going to see a bunch of professional athletes who are from Sacramento, and you're going to see them saying, if Sacramento State was FBS, I could have stayed home.
Wow.
And it's going to be a signal to all those great athletes in the local area. Don't look somewhere else. Come and be a hometown hero.
Yeah. Well, fans are going to get a first chance on Sunday to see the new look football team, all those recruits that Coach Marion has brought in, the guys that are returning. The spring game, which I know is this even already has a different feel coming up on Sunday. It's going to be a big production out there at the stadium, 4:00. Tell us a little bit about what Hornet fans can see when they head out there on Sunday.
Yeah, so gates open up at 3:30. It's at 4:00 is our spring game. For those who don't know what a spring game is, it's essentially, we're talking about practice. I'm saying that in my Ted Lasso voice, right? but that's essentially what it is. Basically, we take the team, we split them up into a red team, or not a red team, but a green team and a white team. The coaches divide them. You've got offensive and defensive for both. And then we have a scoring system so we can determine who the winner is. So essentially, it's a within team scrimmage, but it's an opportunity, more importantly, to see the players. It's an opportunity to meet the coaches, to see this go-go offense that everybody's been talking about, that everybody's trying to figure out what it is, and to really have a good time. And then we're also going to have Blue Bucks Clan, which is a hip-hop group that's going to be doing a performance at halftime. So think about it. You got food. You've got even some folks coming to do a tailgate. You've got a football game. You got a concert, and it's all for free this Sunday. So I tell folks, if you're having a barbecue at the house or you're getting out of a church service, get done and come on over to Sac State.
Hey, and it's great weather too.
That's gonna be nice. Yeah, really nice.
I want to end on a positive note, but tough subject. We got a break here. The news broke yesterday that Coach Mike Bibby has hired, I think, his first assistant, Coach Tom Abeta-Marco. Doc, Coach T, I was basically his rookie here 20 years ago when he was on the air. I can't begin to tell you, I had to go get LaBoo all the time, donuts, bagels, and all that. I've never asked you for anything, but down the road, I may need to lean on you to keep him in line. So if you and I could be together on that, I'd appreciate it.
I'm with you. I got your back.
Thank you, brother. Hey, Dr. Luke Wood, you're doing wonderful work. You and your brother, I know you don't want to, we'll give him the credit instead.
No,
but
we can give him credit too. I love my brother. And
the two, you guys have had such a great impact on the city, and it's just starting. So we appreciate it. We're here to help as well. Obviously, Jason's gung ho, but we are a home for you, as you know. Anything we can do, because we all benefit from this, and really admire what you're doing out there, Doc. Seriously.
Well, as we close out, I want to just give you all an invitation. Our well basketball gym will be done and finished at the end of this month. So I'd love for you all to come out in early May and come see what we put together, so that you can see that the investments in athletic facilities is not solely around football and soccer and rugby, but it's also around men's and women's basketball and gymnastics and volleyball as well.
It's a date.
Awesome.
We're there. Nice job powering through that car alarm, by the way. That's a pro right there. Don't think we didn't notice that. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, absolutely. Stingers up.
All right.
Stingers
up. Take care. That is Dr. Luke Wood. We're late for a break, but it was worth it. When we come back, what to watch, celebrity birthdays. Jason, that was good stuff.
It was.
That was
lots
really
of